life isn't fair. That's the reality. And a good person in the wrong place, in the wrong time, can end up just a victim of fate.
You must come to peace and come to terms with everything that you've ever faced. There are things that have fortified a different aspect of your life because of trauma that happened as a child. You've got to be willing to let go of that, and so you can embrace the adult that you are now. You cannot get rescued by anyone but you. Because if other people grab and reach in and try to pull you out, you'll defend the small child you were that was taken advantage of. But if you can look into your past and look at your life and realize that the times you were most vulnerable and there was no one there to protect you, that was not a time where you were made a victim.
But when those bad things happen to people around you, what are you going to do? How are you going to lead? Are you going to fall over and fall down and fall apart? Or are you going to lead?
Like waking up and being in the spirit of gratitude, right? And just being grateful before we even start our day. Just waking up with it on our mind. Man, I'm grateful that I get the opportunity to do this week, right? It's almost that pressing that perspective of, I don't have to do it, I get to do it. Right? And so my challenge for us all is, as we start our days, as we do our work, as we carry on with our lives, let's do the press of gratitude more. The press of being thankful more, right? Like when we start something, even if it's opposition present, challenges present, uncertainty present, man, let's tap into that spirit of gratitude. Let's tap into that spirit of thankfulness.
But they're normal people that knew they needed to make a change. And they decided they were going to make a change, and then they made it. And that is what I do. And that is what you can do too. If you have something to change, if you want to change something, change it. Change it now.
If you can dream and not make dreams your master, we all have dreams. So I figured the best place to make those dreams come true are in isolation.
Develop a health plan. See, you can't feel well and do well if you don't have good health. You can't perform if you don't have your health. Your health is valuable. Develop a health plan. A plan that you will follow, because this is the only vehicle that you have to carry you through this experience called life. And you want to take good care of it because you love you enough. You care enough about you. And that's not easy. It is not easy having a health plan and sticking to it. But you're worth it doing it again and again and again.
If for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, what would you be like?
You might want something. You might want a better life. You might want to have a fit and athletic body. You might want to have a better relationship. You might want to start making more money and win your financial freedom. You might want to have better self-control, self-mastery. You might want to have greater confidence. Whatever those things you want, they're on the other side of the enough is enough moment that you must have.
saying that everything great that you've ever looked at in your entire life is built by tired people. And if you want to be one of the great people that builds amazing things, you're going to have to do so tired as well. That is the way it works. Are you tired? Are you tired right now? I bet you are a little tired. That's normal. But guess what you can do? You can still act, you can still execute, you can still work, and you can still be successful.
I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Because almost everything, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure, these things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. Remembering that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. There is no reason not to follow your heart.
Steve Jobs said, when you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way that it is, and that your life is to live your life inside the world and try not to get in too much trouble, and maybe get an education and get a job and make some money and have a family. But life can be a lot broader than that when you realize one simple thing, and that is that everything around us that we call life was made up by people that are no smarter than you. So build a life. Don't live one, build one.
Be the damn disruptor. Stop talking about the same things that happened to you. Stop talking about that person that did you wrong, okay? They moved on with their life. That was a part of your story. That was a chapter. You have more to be written. You still got breath in your body. You can do something about it. You can turn that situation that was supposed to break you to build you, I promise you. But you gotta stop feeling sorry for yourself. I gotta say, no matter how hard it may be, no matter how impossible it may seem, no matter how much this year sucks, I'm still gonna get the greatest me out of this. I'm still gonna step up to the plate. And some of you right now are thinking tomorrow. You know how many people said tomorrow and took their talents to the grave?
And I say that the reason that we don't even explore the possibility of what to do is because subconsciously we don't believe that it can happen for us, and we don't believe that we deserve it. So here's what I'm suggesting. How much time do you spend working on you? How much time do you spend every day working on your dream?
There is work that must be done beyond what people see. People see your check, they see the car you drive, they see the house you own, but what they don't see is when you're staying up and putting in 16 hours of work now so that you can relax and enjoy later. You see, hard work is how you get in it. And anything you get without hard work has no value.
No matter what you face, no matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge, and by a challenge I mean anything in life, any challenge, anything that you're facing, the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking.
Is a power. In fact, it's a superpower. Once you have that, you have everything you need to succeed. Just don't get comfortable. Just don't get settled. Get hungry. Discipline, habits, and self-control.
Well, you should be afraid of taking risks and pursuing something meaningful. But you should be more afraid of staying where you are if it's making you miserable. You're paying a price by sitting there being miserable. You might say, well, the devil I know is better than the one I don't. It's like, don't be so sure of that. The clock is ticking. Yeah. And if you're miserable in your job now and you change nothing, in 5 years, you'll be much more miserable and you'll be a lot older.
Get on the path of discipline and stay on the path. Discipline begets discipline. Will propagates more will.
There's not one person that you look up to, not one, that gets up every day and says, this is fucking amazing. I can't wait to do this, no matter what they tell you on social media. They still have bad days. They still have days where they want to do something else. The difference is they don't, because they're committed. You can be the person who's committed. You can be the person who says, this is going to fucking work no matter what happens, no matter how frustrated I get, no matter how angry I get, no matter what, I'm fucking doing this. Those are the people that are going to win.
At some point, you're going to have the courage. At some point, you're going to have the confidence. And it's total bullshit. And so there are so many people in the world, and you know, you may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true. Because the way that our minds are wired, and the fact about human beings, is that we are not designed to do things that are uncomfortable or scary or difficult. Our brains are designed to protect us from those things, because our brains are trying to keep us alive. And in order to change, in order to build a business, in order to be the best parent, the best spouse, to do all those things that you know you want to do with your life, with your work, with your dreams, you're going to have to do things that are difficult, uncertain, or scary.
Decision making is the force that shapes destiny. How many of you can think of the decisions that you made years ago, 1 or 2 decisions, 5, 10, 15 years ago? That decision, you may not have realized it at the time, but that decision was one of the most important decisions of your life. You made a different decision there, you go in a different direction, your life would be completely different today.
You know, the war that you have to really fight is the war against yourself. You have to fight the war against yourself. You know, it's not easy to look in the mirror and to change your own life. It's hard as hell. You have to take responsibility. You have to learn new things. You have to feel uncomfortable. Good, because discomfort is how we grow. That's how we become strong. If you run away from discomfort and resistance your whole life, you will always be weak.
You want a goal that you can never attain, right? So you can always move closer to the goal that recedes as you move towards it. You think, well, that's frustrating. It's like Sisyphus pushing the rock uphill. But it's not, because as you pursue that goal, you put yourself together and your life does get better and richer and more abundant. That's why the highest levels of virtue and goal are in some sense transcendent. You want them to be above everything you're doing so you can continually move towards something that's more sublime and better. That's what you are. You're here to live, not to sleep.
You have everything that you need to achieve greatness, and you've got a duty and a responsibility to the world to demonstrate greatness, the highest version of yourself, the 2.0 version of yourself, the most self-actualized version of yourself. You must become the man that you love, that you respect, that you admire. That is your duty. That is my duty. You've got the next 6 months ahead of you. You can either be a loser and say you will wait for the new year to come to reset your expectations and a resolution, or you can start today and reprogram yourself for greatness.
Pretend there's a documentary crew filming your success story and they're following you around right now. What would you do? What would you do if you knew that there was a crew following you around with cameras documenting your future incredible success, and they want to catch you in the act of it all? You would do all the right things you would have to do. Think about that. Organize it.
So one of the things, in order to make this your decade, in order to reach your goals, you've got to find some reasons that make you strong, some reasons that will make you hang in there when times get rough, because they're going to get rough. It's going to be very challenging. Whenever you decide that you want to grow, whenever you decide that you want to go to another level, all hell will break loose. Everything that will happen, rather that can happen, will happen, and at the worst possible moment. They call it Murphy's Law. See, whenever you decide you want to go to another level, you've got to fasten your psychological, your mental, and your spiritual seatbelt, because it's going to be a while before you experience a comfortable altitude.